can you make choices that simply say, I will put my well-being, my mental well-being first? I think the mounting stress in the world is one, because of events outside most people's controls. And two, is because stress will cause more stress. So what is happening in our world today, you walk the streets and you feel it, right? You can easily see that people are struggling economically, for example, and so they are behaving in ways that are stressing others. It's a bit less safe in the city of London. It's a bit more challenging to make ends meet, and so on and so forth, right? So the truth of the matter is that the events are leading those who are not capable of dealing with stress to a situation where they will be more stressed. The reward that you get as a result of automation. So think of it as the conduit that you put your efforts through to get something on the other side, gets magnified a long time. Now, with what is about to happen from an economic and technological point of view, the gains are going to become massive, right? So one platform owner, such as OpenAI, for example, will almost entirely own, for a while, until they are disrupted, the commodity that we call intelligence, right? They will almost have a plug in the wall where, you plug in and you get 100 IQ points more, right? The amount of power that this generates for the company, for the country, for the economy, for the culture, becomes prohibitive of every other company and every other culture. And so everyone's competing, right? Most people don't talk about that because they're not aware of the scale of the conflict, if you want. So we are about to head into a world where nations that are struggling economically have found an opportunity to get out of where they are at the expense of the rest of society. And that's going to cause a lot of stress. It's going to cause stress in the replacement of jobs. It's going to cause stress economically. It's going to cause stress about the uncertainty of geopolitical landscape. It's going to cause stress around, I am not able to keep up with the speed at which technology is changing, right? So that becomes, all of that change, all of that uncertainty, I think, is going to cause a situation where a lot of us are dealing with things that might make us anxious. The truth is, no, I think we're entering a time of human evolution, if you ask me, where it's about time that you make your well-being your number one top priority, right? There are studies now that will tell you 70 to 80% of clinics visits, of doctor visits, are because of stress-related illness, right? This is quite serious. And sometimes you look back at COVID days and you say, this is the biggest pandemic of our time. It's not. Stress is the biggest pandemic of our time by a very, very, very large margin. Almost everyone is stressed in an interesting way, right? Now, stress in itself is not a bad thing. If you have a presentation or a podcast with an important person tomorrow and you're preparing for it, stress is good for you, right? But the truth is that we are getting to the point where good is turning into burnout, it's turning into anxiety, it's turning into panic attacks, it's turning into, it really is getting the toll on we're all suffering. So we have to change that. We have to find a way where we can actually deal with our world as it is, because we're not going to be able to change that world, so that we're not as stressed by it as the world is making it, sort of dictating to us that we should be that stressed. We've been given a dream, okay? And that dream is more is better, faster is better. We've been given a dream that says, I need $1 billion to feel comfortable. Not really. I mean, you're not a fancy guy. You don't drive a Lamborghini, right? So the truth is, we really, really, really can have a much bigger impact. An impact on what, by the way? Because if the impact is, I'm going to change the world, is that a better and more important impact than I'm going to hug my daughter? Because think about it, relatively, I'm going to spend time with my girlfriend or my wife. I'm going to, relatively, it's you succeed at what you set your priority to. And is there a balance somewhere? Is there a balance that says, I'm going to limit my life to achieve impact, but the 95%, right? Give up the 5% and save yourself 80% of the effort. Most people, when people go to work, I'm going to say this, it's going to upset a lot of people. But 80% of the stuff you do at work is just to prove you're alive. Okay? 20% of what you do at work actually achieves the numbers. Okay? That's the truth of all work generated. And in your own day, can you actually do it with the objective of, I'm going to achieve 100% of my target, 110% of my target, but I'm going to do that with the minimum amount of effort. Fairly to my employer, I'm not cheating anyone, I'm delivering. 91% of people will face at least one, but often several, PTSD-inducing traumatic event in their life. That's like the loss of a loved one, or losing your job so unexpectedly to the point you have to suffer, or whatever, okay? Being in a war zone and so on. Believe it or not, 93% of them will recover within 3 months. Trauma is not what breaks us, right? The interesting stuff that breaks us is the long application of obsessions, nuisances, and trauma and noise. Obsessions are macro issues that you tell yourself. Don't exist in the real world at all, okay? Like, I have a little belly, so no one will ever love me. You can obsess about this for the rest of your life, right? And make it your life story, and basically create a lot of stress as a result of that script that you told yourself. Okay, nuisances are the little ones, the little forms of that. Things that are triggered every day by you passing in front of the mirror as you walk out of the door, and you go like, "Oh man, you're still fat," or whatever, right? Believe it or not, most of our stress, however, comes because of what we call nuisances. Nuisances are stressors that don't break you; they're not trauma. Okay? But there are so many of them that you include in your life, so many of them. The very loud alarm, right? To the opening your social media and seeing something upsetting, or opening WhatsApp and getting a message you don't like, and so on and so forth, right? And this is 5 minutes, 10 minutes before you even had your coffee, you get 10, 15 stressors. The trick is, how beneficial for your life have those been? And if we're aware, if we're able to look at those stressors and say, hold on, I'm going to take an inventory of all of the things that stressed me last week, okay? A genuinely honest inventory. And I'm going to tell myself, oh, by the way, I don't need this, I don't need this, I don't need this, I don't need this, right? My commute. If I leave 10 minutes early, would it be easier? If I leave 10 minutes late, would it be easier, right? And if you actually attentively, deliberately look at all of the nuisances in your life, how many of them can you limit? Countless. I promise you, you can limit countless nuisances.